So, hi everyone. I started the World Toilet Organization 12 years ago because the subject of toilet was very disgusting and the media doesn't talk very much about it. So I thought if I were to make it a punt on the World Trade Organization by calling it the WTO, maybe the media will write a lot about it. So there's only two possibilities to happen. One is that the World Trade Organization is very busy and they don't notice it. And so nothing happened and we can continue to play the pun. And the other one is that they sue me and then the subject of sanitation can be even more visible. So in a situation like this, you have nothing much to lose. I also recently founded another organization called the Base of Pyramid Hub, BOP Hub. I'll tell you a little bit more afterwards. The situation today with the economy, the economic environment is that the world has produced a lot of products and creating more and more factories and more companies until the saturation point has arrived. What is a saturation point? A saturation point is when you are in debt. You can't borrow any more money. When you buy a new shirt or a new dress and your cupboard cannot contain it anymore, you have to take out one to throw away and put a new one. It is when you eat until you're obese and have become unhealthy. These are all real saturation point. And yet, 4 billion people in the world still do not have access to our formal economy. That means the 7 billion people in the world, only we are serving 3 billion people. So with more and more productivity and more robotization, mechanization, IT, and outsourcing, jobs are getting lesser and lesser. So we need new customers. And exactly the opportunity is the poor. The poor buys everything more expensive than us. For example, water, they buy in jerry cans like this, and we get it almost free on the tap. So the rich are subsidized, and the poor are penalized. The poor actually, because they are unserved, represent a $5 trillion marketplace. So why don't we harness all this energy and creativity that we have to look for this new customer? What has been happening in the past with the poor is that the charity model of giving says, prove to me that you are useless, hopeless, and helpless, and I, the generous, will give you money. This is not a sustainable model. The economic empowerment model says, prove to me that you are able and willing to help yourself, and then I will train you to help yourself. This is teaching a man to fish. It's much better. So if you look at the GDP of a country, it's consumption, investment, and government expenditure, export minus import. To have consumption, you have to have a few steps before that. You have to have jobs. Then it gives you income. To have jobs, you have to have entrepreneurs. Therefore, to train the entrepreneurs, whether by micro-franchise or whatever model, if you train them to be entrepreneurs, then the poor can become able to earn and work for themselves, and then you will have new customers. So when you go to the base of the pyramid, you include the poor in your supply chain, and you get a lot of new customers. Then the investment and the technology comes in, and the government is usually the follower, and they will come with the right policy after the businesses have started. On the sanitation side, there are 2.6 billion people in the world today that still do not have access to a toilet. That is about 40% of the world population. But if we look at this as a very sad situation, that is one way. The other way is to look at it as a business opportunity. If you divide by 5, you will get 500 million toilets at home and another 500 million toilets away from home in the school, in the marketplaces, in the workplaces. But there's no supply for this 1 billion demand. So how do we generate the supply? Toilet has been neglected because it's not a charismatic species. It's not a panda. It is not a Bengali tiger. It's not an iceberg. So I use humor. So by turning this subject into something funny, the attention comes in, and then once people are able to laugh, they're able to listen to the serious facts. We created the series of activity. First, we created World Toilet Day on the day of the founding of World Toilet Organization. And Dr. Patak was on stage that day to declare that day World Toilet Day. And World Toilet Day keeps on getting more and more celebration every year. And last year, we reached 1 billion people on social media and traditional media. In 2010, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows was launched on World Toilet Day. It was not planned. They ranked 4th position on Twitter. And World Toilet Day ranked 5th. So it cost us 0 cents, whereas they did it with a few $100 million worldwide launch. But what is more interesting is the person who is on the 6th position was Justin Bieber. We have World Toilet Summit every year, and we go to a different country. And this year, we are in Durban on the 4th to the 6th of December. And we also started World Toilet College, and I'll tell you a little bit about Sandy Shop afterwards. So we started World Toilet Summit in 2001, and every year, this is 2004 when Beijing was preparing for the Olympics. And they were very worried that the people won't come because of China's reputation of not very good public toilet. And they renovated 4,000 public toilets. And it started a movement all over China, big city. And now, after Beijing, Tianjin, Shanghai, all the other big cities start renovating and providing very, very good public toilets. So that was a good impetus after one summit in China. We went to Moscow, and this is the cosmonauts' toilet. And Sulap, Dr. Patak hosted World Toilet Summit in 2007, and the Crown Prince of Holland was there. So the profile was raised, as well as the President of India also came with 6 ministers. So it was really a great support when you have great supporter, and the subject keeps on growing. We started to think, all right, advocacy is very successful. How about putting toilets on the ground? If we give toilet, it's very difficult. You cannot scale up. So we started with Unilever, a Sandy Shop program that teaches people to produce toilet and to sell toilets. So here are the manufacturer. For $5,000, they start quite a reasonable size factory. For $1,000 they can start a very small factory. And they produce toilet, and we teach the salespeople to sell toilets. So we create jobs. With every little toilet, there are saleswomen. And when the women earn commission, they earn $2 every time they sell a toilet. They have income, and when they go home, they can talk to their husband a little bit more confidently, and especially when they talk to their mother-in-laws. Here are very satisfied customers. How do we sell them toilet? We sell them aspiration. We say when you open the toilet door, it's not a toilet inside, it's your future. Your children will grow up healthy. Your mother will not have to be bitten by the snake in the bush. Your wife will not have to expose herself to other men when she's doing it. And all the safety, and you will be respected by your community. And if you don't have toilet, then the people will look down on you. So it's aspirational marketing. And that works much better than to tell them this is for health and hygiene. And of course, after they buy the toilet, and we ask them, why did you buy the toilet? The answer is always for health and hygiene. So with that, we also got some recognition. Now I want to talk about the BOP world again. The overseas development aid that a lot of taxpayers pay to their country to donate money to the poor is also very wasteful. Sometimes it becomes a big consultancy report. So the money did not go to solar energy or toilets or water or low-cost housing, but reports. So this is one way. Other ways are meetings and giving money to intermediary, to give money to intermediary, to give money, and finally $1 become 20 cents when it reached the ground. So it's better to transform this into a direct business model. And what we think with the BOP Hub method is to make things faster, cheaper, better by scaling up what is already good models. For example, if Schneider sells 500,000 solar lamps, can they sell 50 million solar lamps? This is the way to go to scale. And how would they do that? If we pick distributors of other products around the world, local contacts, and piggyback on each other so that people don't work in silos, but work in collaboration with each other. Then we can cut waste of time, waste of intermediary, and use good design and appropriate technology to create jobs. So these are sectors that they need: better agriculture, home appliances, fast-moving consumer goods, ICT, sanitation, health, low-cost housing, energy. We have already got a big group of network support, and all these partners will come in, and I will like to include the LH Forum on this, of course. Last year, it was also endorsed with a commitment with President Clinton in New York at the Clinton Global Initiative. And we are now designing a building, an industrial project, to design all solutions and collaborate with designers and researchers all over the world, including companies. So that is a $10 million building with 65,000 square feet. It will work 24 hours, 365 days a year, and we will coordinate with all effort around the world without having to travel to each other's. Finally, we will make a BOP World Trade Fair in Singapore in 2014 also, and we welcome all the people who are interested to turn poverty into jobs, equity, and business that are for the positive economy. Thank you very much.